Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I'm Sam Allman.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
And today we'll be playing the 6th part of Bernard's auto-bi-RPG, Skies of Arcadia, covering up to the founding of our base at Crescent Isle. But before we get started, how is everyone's week?
Well, I have had bronchitis all week.
Oh,
Ew.
no!
I mean, I didn't go to the doctor because I got laid off and don't have health insurance, but my symptoms all say bronchitis. And so, if while we're recording, I go silent for a while, I've probably muted myself so I can cough a bunch.
Dope.
So, don't worry, I'll be back. And I'll cut out the silence. It'll be a smooth experience for the listener. I've just sort of been going crazy from being cooped up and unemployed and all that. However, I do have a second interview with a place on Monday, so I'm excited about that.
Well, that's good. I hope that goes well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, Monday's a day for big things, because I'm moving across the country on Monday.
Hell yeah.
Woo!
East Coast, here I come!
Yeah. Now you get the slightly easier schedule to deal with, because 2 hours in the past is a lot. Like, you still have a night ahead of you. Me and Bernard are ready for bed.
Yeah. Very much looking forward to that. Try not to stress. I had a scare earlier today where I was like, I think I remember where I put all my important documents, like my degree, my birth certificate, passport, all those things. I think I remember where I put them. Let me just double check and put that with my luggage maybe. And I went and looked and it wasn't there. And so I had a couple of hours of just like, where is it? Oh no, I've lost it. This is horrible. Replacing all of this is going to be a nightmare. Until I was like searching everywhere for it and discovered I'd put it in my laptop case when I came to my parents, and I just haven't taken them out because I didn't need my laptop case the entire time I've been here. So
I'm glad you found them.
Me too. I've had to replace some of those things before, and it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
But otherwise, things have been good.
Last time I moved, I lost my Nintendo Switch.
Oh no.
And if I recall correctly, it was right before Smash Ultimate came out.
Oh no.
So I was panicking. I ended up getting a new Switch eventually, but
Speaking of Switches, though, I have been playing a lot of Tears of the Kingdom, and I just finished my 3rd dungeon, but I have every shrine, and I've lit up the entire depths, because I play video games like this, and please don't ask me why, it's just how I am. But fun game.
I was like that with Breath of the Wild. I managed to not do that with Tears of the Kingdom this time. I was doing that in between dungeons 2 and 3, but then I was like, you know how like life-changing the Rito thing was? I bet the others will be life-changing as well. Like, maybe it would be really cool to get, like, I don't know, unlimited bombs whenever I want them. And yeah, you get a lot of really cool shit. My first 2 was the Rito and the Zora, which are not that cool, but unlimited bombs and kick-ass electricity thing.
Yes, those are both. So I don't know what the Rito or Zora ones are, because those are the 2 I haven't done yet.
Okay.
I've done the other 3.
The Zora one is stupid. You get a water shield that you can shoot out like a water beam. It comes in handy for
Fire-type Pokemon.
Yeah, for Fire-type Pokemon. And there's the boss of his dungeon has several refights in the depths that not having to waste all of your water stuff, arrows and stuff makes it okay. But the Rito is the one that you should
water
do next.
Arrows? Are those just wet arrows?
You can attach basically gourds full of water to your arrows to get a splash effect.
Yeah. which don't come in handy very often, but getting them for free is still nice. But the Rito one is the one that you should go and get right away because it'll help you get all of the shrines that you already have. But it when you jump out with your paraglider, you can shoot wind behind you and just go farther in your paraglider.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Neat. That is
Yeah.
very neat.
Yeah,
it was very funny, like doing this, like I'm gonna get every shrine thing. There's only one shrine in the game that you need one of the dungeon powers to get, which the Goron one, which is why I end up having to do the Goron one. But the oh gosh, my brain. But in the process of getting them all, I ended up unlocking what I think is supposed to be like a near the end of the game dungeon, this one in the depths where you get a mech basically. And I was just like, well, I didn't do any of the prerequisite story things, and I completely bumbled my way through this, but I'll take this, sure.
Yeah, my favorite instance of that happening in the game is there's a island in the sky that's just on lightning, and I was like, I'm gonna go and explore this, and it's very, very hard because there is no visibility, and I was using my lightning bro to like highlight everything in yellow to cheat to be able to find where I was supposed to go, and I just did it because it was there, and I figured it was going to be like a shrine at the end of it or something, to like one of those, you did good, here's a free shrine, you get the heart piece for doing world exploration thing. And then I get to the end and I stumble upon like plot, and it pops up on screen, main quest started, do a blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh, that's really, really cool. And that's I don't know what the quest is that sends you to the cloud, but the one from the cloud sends you to the robot. So it was super cool. The game whips, in case people don't know. In case people haven't been playing it nonstop for 3 months now.
It's very fun, yes.
I mean, I haven't touched it because I'm weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spoiler: there are dungeons in a Zelda game, and when you beat the dungeons, you get things that give you more powers. So
cool.
It's true.
Yeah, I know that's probably a big surprise, but so speaking of moving across the country, I went to Texas. My mom finally let go, and it was not nearly as sad for me as it was for a lot of other people, but I went and I gave my support to the family and stuff like that. I ate a lot of really good food in Texas. I was staying with my aunt, and my aunt has the spirit of her mom, my Mima, who passed like 10 years ago now. But that spirit is, I'm just going to sit here and do my craft and my hobby and watch Game Show Network for 12 hours a day. And that's how I'm going to live out my retirement. And it rules. So I just hung out with my aunt and watched a shitload of Game Show Network, and I beat Magi Nation all the way through for the first time, and I beat Breath of Fire 4 all the way through for the first time, and one of those games is a masterpiece, and the other one is a dweeby little Game Boy Color game that I'm obsessed with. But it was super great and super awesome. And then when I was flying back, my first flight was delayed like 3 whole hours. And because of that, I missed my connecting flight on the other end, which then didn't have a new one for like 3 days to get me back to Madison. But my connection was just in Chicago, which is only like 2 hours from home. So I was just going to take a bus, but I asked the guy, where do I go to get on this bus? And he pointed me to the bus depot. But as of like the 1st of June, so not very long ago, charter buses that take you to places that aren't just a hotel don't come to the bus depot anymore. They go to the Uber pool like a mile away. So I didn't know this because I was told the wrong thing. And so midnight comes around when I'm supposed to get on my bus, and the bus isn't there. And then I keep checking on it in the app or whatever, and it's like departed on time Next one is at 7 a.m. And
Oh.
I was like, what the shit? And so I finally looked it up, because everywhere online was calling it like the multimodal facility or something like that, and not the Uber pool or the enterprise car lot, which is also where it is. Like all of these things that would have made sense, and none of the signs said they were going to the multimodal facility. They all said they were going to rental car lot. So seeing a bunch of different buses come through in the bus depot, knowing what multi and mode means, I figured that was where I was, but I definitely was not. And so I then was looking down, sitting in a bus station for 7 hours. But then my sweet darling partner, Cassie, who was not available at 9 to come and pick me up when I first knew I was going to miss the flight, it now being 4 hours later, was available. And so they drove 2 hours at midnight to come and pick me up, to drive 2 hours back. And I arrived home as the sun rose the next day. And it sucked. But then after unpacking everything for my trip, I plugged in my RG353V, and Bernard was like, hey, look at these cool bezels I have where it can look like a Game Boy Color screen when you're playing a Game Boy Color game. And I'm like, that's cool, I want to do that. So I started doing that, and then my device just shut off, and then it wouldn't turn back on, and then it wasn't responding to any of my charging. It wasn't doing anything. And as I mentioned moments ago, I had beaten 2 video games for fun in the last week, which I haven't done since Sharp FE, I think, was the last time I had binged an RPG that I didn't have to talk about in the podcast. So I was feeling really, really shitty about it. Turns out, so if any of you listened last week and are like, wow, I want to get me an Ambernick RG353V, that sounds like a great idea to have games in my pocket all the time. Don't use a fast charger. I double checked on my new one, because I returned and got a new one, but I double checked on my new one in the instruction manual. It nowhere says if you use a fast charger you're going to toast it and set it on fire. But yeah, it'll burn. It'll either kill your battery, it'll overcharge your battery and it'll stop holding a charge, or in my case it blew a capacitor or resistor or something like that in the charging port, so it would not charge. If I put in a charged battery, it would play, but it would not charge up, and I can't buy a $15 battery every single day that I want to play it. So I now have a new one, and everything's great and fine again, but it really freaking sucked. The last little bit,
if just okay. I feel like generally if you have the lesson we've learned is if you have some like cheap device that's not capable of fast charging, just use like a baby charger on it.
Yeah, I either go to a gas station and find one that looks like a child's toy, or just charge it off of a USB on your computer. Those are all slow chargers for the most part. So yeah, that really, really sucked. But I'm glad it's fixed now, and I will continue playing video games for fun. I think I might do Dragon Quest IX next. I haven't decided.
Ooh.
Oh man, Dragon Quest IX is so good. I haven't played it like in a decade.
I've only played 1 and 5.
You get to make little guys and girls and dress them up.
Ooh, fun. Well, I say 1 and 5. Also, I've played Monsters and Monsters 2, but like that's a spin-off series.
I mean,
with excellent Quest... spin-off series, but
yeah, all the spin-offs are great, so they count.
Yeah.
With Final Fantasy, like half the spin-offs aren't good, and also they're all really weird. But Dragon Quest, it's all sort of the same shit. So
yeah,
I remember hearing about, I can't remember which spinoff it was. I think it was like Builders or something like that, where it's like, oh, this takes place in a like bad end timeline of Dragon Quest 1, where you do like the player character joined the Dragon Lord, and so like it's like you're the protagonist of the first game is a boss in it, and I'm like, that's so wild.
Yes,
What?
that's exactly right, and I love it. Oh, I don't know if the protagonist of the first game is a boss. I haven't played more than a little bit, but that is the conceit of the story.
Yeah, I've only done the first chapter. Turns out boss fights are really, really hard in a Minecraft, and it's really, really good. And all the Minecraft parts were great. And then I was like, I've succeeded at doing the thing. Let me do a boss now. And the boss kicked my ass. You gotta be really good at the game. So I did that, and then I haven't gone back. But I hear Dragon Quest Builders 2 is both a better Minecraft and a better sequel to Dragon Quest 2 than the first one was the sequel to Dragon Quest 1.
But my question is, did any of us get our asses kicked by the bosses in this week's segment of Skies of Arcadia?
Amazingly, no.
Yeah, same.
The
bosses have been really easy for a while.
But did you do optional boss that you can do near the end of this week?
I don't think I did. I was reading like, oh, there's an optional boss in this area, and I looked. I was like, where?
Yeah, I would like the one on Sailor Isle.
Yes,
I had to like leave and come back a few times to find them.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But it's like twice as hard as anything that's come before in the game. It's insanely difficult.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about what we played this week so that we can talk about these bosses in more detail. Bernard, what do we do this week?
So, after having found Ducat's treasure, our heroes sail back to Nasarad. But, like, the second they arrive, the Valuan Armada attacks. And they're bombing the shit out of the place. Our heroes are like, this is bad, let's leave. So they head for the docks, but freaky music starts playing as Ramirez walks through the flames like a Sephiroth. Fina's like, Ramirez! And Ika's like, you know this guy? Ramirez draws his sword and tells our heroes to surrender or die. Vice is ready to fight, but Fina insists that they can't defeat him. Our heroes stand down and Valuan soldiers take them prisoner. Fina asks Ramirez why he's doing this. Ramirez says, ... Our heroes lose the moon crystals. We cut to Theodora and Galcian in the throne room. Theodora is quite pleased with having defeated Nasir. She tells Galcian to bring Fina and the moon crystals to her, and to have the air pirates executed in the lower city so the people can witness their deaths. Enrique marches in and asks how she could destroy Nasarad like that. He says if they use these brutal tactics, the people will rise against them. Theodora calls Enrique a bleeding heart liberal hippie commie who probably has pronouns and sends him away. Our heroes are in jail. Ika's cell door opens and Vigoro walks in. We might remember him as the greaser we briefly met among all those admirals. He negs Ika and is generally lecherous, and things are going in a bad direction. Meanwhile, in the boys' cell downstairs, Vice's endless optimism has cracked, but Gilder is strangely chill. After a bit, Gilder's parrot, Willie, flies in the window with a letter tied to its leg with a piece of wire. The letter says that the Claudia is going to start bombarding the fortress at midnight as a diversion so our heroes can escape. Vice is like, cool, but we're still in a jail cell. Gilder takes the wire and picks the lock like it's no big deal. Vice notices there's a message on the back of the letter as well. It's from Clara, who says she will fight for Gilder's freedom as well. Gilder's like, do we have to escape? Oh, Gilder. As Vice and Gilder leave their cell, they hear Ica scream. They find her cell and are like, what the fuck is going on? Vice demands that Vigoro get off his girlfriend and tell him where his other girlfriend is. Vigoro says Ramirez escorted Fina to the Imperial Palace. Vice, Ica, and Gilder beat the shit out of Vigoro, and it's not even hard.
It really isn't.
Yeah, it's great. Vigoro's like, you haven't seen the last of me, and passes out. Right after Vice, Ica, and Gilder leave the prison, Enrique enters through a different door. He tells his guard that he wants to speak with the air pirates. The guard says he'll bring the prisoners to him, and as Enrique waits, he's like, damn, I finally get to meet Vice. I bet he's hot. But the guard... What?
Oh, I was wondering if I was going to be the only one who got that vibe from Enrique, but yes.
Oh, no, yeah. But the guard quickly returns with news that the cells are empty except for an unconscious Admiral Vigoro. And Enrique is like, damn, Vice is trying to escape again. That's so hot. Enrique tells the guard to not tell anyone about this and to keep this area locked down. Meanwhile, Vice and Ica reach the gate of the Grand Fortress and stumble upon an absurdly large cannon. They're like, what the heck is this? Also, where's our sleazy avuncular companion? Gilder runs up and says he was busy setting up a Chekhov's gun. They continue on their way, which takes them to the exterior of the Grand Fortress, where the graphics are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The Claudia and Clara's ship that I forget the name of start bombarding the Grand Fortress. The giant cannon readies to fire, but explodes. And Gilder's like, hey, I sabotaged that cannon. I didn't tell you that I did that before for some reason. Anyway, our heroes continue as we cut to Fina in the conference room where we met the admirals. Clever reuse of assets.
Mm-hmm.
Ramirez enters. Fina asks why he's fighting for Valua. What about their orders? What about the elders? A soldier barges in and reports the explosion. Ramirez tells Fina that he fights for Lord Galcian and that's all she needs to know. He leaves to investigate, and I'm like, what did you come in there for originally? Vice, Ica, and Gilder find their way to the conference room, and our heroes are reunited again. Fina says that the first time they rescued her, she was really surprised, but this time she knew they would come. Things get really sappy between Vice and Fina, and Gilder's like, oh, are you jealous, Ica? And wonderfully, Ica says, no, I know Vice cares for me the same way, and you clearly don't understand what's going on here.
The only thing that could have made it better is if Ica was also being as the same way towards Fina. But, like, you know what? They have time later in private. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Our heroes decide to head towards the dock so they can steal a ship. The Grand Fortress is opening to go into defensive mode, so they have a chance to escape. On their way, they encounter a boss. They fight the boss and win. But an alarm goes off and they're like, shit, what are we going to do now? A voice, which the text box says is Gallant, calls to them and says to get on a nearby lift. They decide to take a chance and trust the voice, seeing as it's Gallant. The lift takes them to the floor above and Enrique greets them. Gilder's like, are you the Prince of Valua? And Enrique's like, yeah, I figured you'd come here to steal a ship. Follow me. Our heroes are confused, but follow him. Enrique leads them to the deck of his personal flagship, the Delphinus. It's the latest, fanciest model of Valian battleship. He talks about how awesome it is, and Gilder's like, okay, did you bring us here just to show off your cool boat? Enrique tells them that he wants them to take the ship and take him with it. He's horrified by Valua's actions, and as prince, he feels responsible for them. He says he hasn't been able to convince Galcian and the Empress to change their ways, so now his only chance at redemption is to aid Vice and his friends.
Are you saying that he wants Vice to steal him?
Yes. He tells Vice, I want you to take me. Vice says he can sail with them, but he must do so as a blue rogue. Enrique says he will do his part as a member of Vice's crew. Ike is like, this rules. We've got a ship and a new party member. But the moon crystals are still in the hands of the Valuans. Enrique says they are, but more specifically, they're in my hands. He stole them. Vice is like, damn, maybe you're cut out to be an air pirate after all. The Delphinus leaves its dock, but our heroes find the Grand Fortress has already closed. But they can use the ship's fancy moonstone cannon to blast a hole right through it. They do that. Our heroes have escaped the Grand Fortress a second time. Nice. We briefly see Ramirez standing around being ominous while ominous music plays. After leaving Value in airspace, Clara has boarded the Delphinus and is clinging to Gilder despite his protests. Enrique says that even though this is his ship, Vice should totally be the captain. Everyone else says, yeah, Vice should totally be the captain. He's the main character. They also decide to design a new flag. Enrique says Vice, Ica, and Fina should each design one, and then they can choose from the pile. Then they decide that they should, take a look around the new ship. Vice finds Marco hiding on the bridge. We remember Marco. He was the orphan who came to admire Vice, even though Vice unnecessarily antagonized him.
Yeah, the kid who's living in horrible poverty, and Vice is like, why don't you pull yourself up by your bootstraps, kid?
Never give up.
I'm glad that we were all like, why didn't you invite him to come with you? And then it just happened later. It's because Vice didn't own the little Jack, but now he owns this one, so he can.
So, yeah, he snuck aboard the ship, hoping to escape Valia, which worked out really well. And Marco says he's going to be part of Vice's crew, whether he likes it or not. And so Marco has joined the crew, and apparently the crew is going to be a mechanic now.
Mm-hmm.
After taking a look around the ship, Vice heads back to the bridge and speaks with Gilder. Gilder says he's going to head back to the Claudia while Clara is distracted. Before leaving, Gilder tells Vice he'll need a base. He suggests Crescent Isle, the island Vice was stranded on. He also goes on for a while about how much Vice has accomplished, and it's really quite a lot considering the game's only half over.
Mm-hmm.
Gilder leaves, and our heroes set sail for Crescent Isle. Enrique quickly tells Vice that the Delphinus is not fully completed yet, which is why it can't fly in certain conditions, and we're gated into going to Crescent Isle before continuing the story. After potentially doing some side quests and gathering some crew, our heroes arrive at Crescent Isle. Enrique is airsick but filled with determination to be a proper air pirate. Two weird old guys walk up and greet our heroes. They say Gilder told them their services would be needed here. They are Brabham, a ship engineer, and Ismail, who builds things. And it wasn't until I was writing the notes I realized that these names are corruptions of Ahab and Ishmael. Because this game. They're going to fix up the Delphinus and build a base here, but first they need 100,000 gold. Which I already had.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
We've been doing a lot of fighting and not a lot of shopping, so.
Yeah. Well, and if I remember correctly, it's also one of them only needed you do them both separately. One of them needs 20,000 and the other one needs 80,000 or something it's a weird split. It's not 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only had 85,000, but then Game Shark gave me the rest that I needed.
Oh, Game Shark, always so useful.
Mm-hmm.
So our heroes get the gold, either by fighting monsters or using a Game Shark, and give it to the random old guys that they just met who could totally be scamming them. And while Brabham works on the ship, Ica proposes they choose a flag if everyone has finished their designs. Vice's design is cool, Fina's design is cute, and Ica's design is ridiculous. We choose a flag. Yes, I was going to ask, which one did we choose?
Oh, I chose Ica's.
Nice.
I chose Vice's. I thought it was actually really cool.
And I chose Fina's because it's really cute.
It is really
They're
cute.
all... The thing is, I was staring at this part where you have the screen for selecting one for 10 minutes, and I had to have one of my girlfriends help choose for me because I couldn't choose. They're all so good.
They're really good.
I had to go with. I'm very happy that particular girlfriend went Icus, not only because that means we each pick a different one, but also because like that's just it's a very fun, silly flag.
It's so good. I love when Aika is describing it. She's describing like, oh, I thought it like we're all really crafty, so I wanted to be a cat, and like I had to make sure that it looked like a pirate. I didn't want it to be a have a skull on it, so I thought everything was great, and it's literally her persona. It's just Aika.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very good. It's also this whole section of the game I'm really enjoying. That it's like you said, the little Jack wasn't our ship, and then we had the other guy's ship that we were using, and it's like this is finally our ship. We get to build a crew. We get to like it. The feeling of this part of the game is very much like, okay, this is ours now. We're the ones in charge, and that's very fun. And I also really enjoy. I don't know, like the ship, like the last two ships felt kind of identical. This ship, like the few times you've entered it, like I did an optional ship fight at one point while I was like going around. This ship feels like a very powerful prototype where it's like, oh, ship combat just became way more fun because it's way easier now.
Yeah,
we have a laser.
It sort of does that thing where it makes you weak at the beginning, then gives you a huge power increase, so you get to feel real cool. And yeah, the fact that Vice is a captain with a ship and a base now is really fun. And I don't remember how deep the crew and base stuff is, but it being there at all is fun. You can go around and talk to NPCs, and some of them you can ask to join your crew. And a lot of them we've already met, like the guy who was the adopted son of the guy we rescued in Ixataka. I think we can recruit him.
Okay, that's cool. The one that stood out to me of the like ones you could do right now is back at the Sailor's Island. You can recruit the lady who runs like the tavern, and it's like, oh, she used to like be out on ships and everything, but she's like settled down, and her daughter's like, I can handle things. You can go back out. I know you want to. And it's like that's fun.
It was fun.
The little weird child that was the VMU mini game. He can join you as well. Still no mini games from him, but at least he's on our team now. Oh,
I finally found the person you can give all the moonfish to, and I spent about 10 solid minutes just doing the thing of giving him one moonfish at a time from all the moonfish I've accumulated this whole game.
God, the animation that plays takes so long.
It takes so long, and you don't even get very much for it. Like, I don't know if there's like an end game thing that's really good for it, but
I mean, so far, get some good stuff, but yeah, it's not a ton.
Yeah. Anyway, we have a base now.
Yeah. And eventually it'll have buildings. So that night our heroes sit around a campfire, and Aika asks Fina how she knew that Ramirez guy. Fina says Ramirez is a Sylvite just like her. And I want to stop and say, all the Valuans have had Spanish-sounding names. That's clearly like inspired by Spanish nomenclature. Yeah. Ramirez is a Spanish-sounding name. Why does he have a Valuan-sounding name when he's a Sylvite?
I don't know.
Who can say?
Maybe
that has bothered me the whole time, but I wanted to wait until it was officially revealed he was a Sylvite to finally bring it up. It has been eating away at me. But anyway, Ramirez was the Sylvite's best warrior, whose blade was sharp enough to cut through light, whatever the fuck that means. Yeah. Fina and Ramirez used to be besties, and she has no idea why he's become so cold and cruel. The Silver Civilization had sent Ramirez out to gather the moon crystals when they learned Valua was after them, but they lost contact with him shortly thereafter. And just no clue why he has defected to Valua. Vice does his best to cheer up Fina. Our heroes agree to restart their search for the moon crystals tomorrow. The next morning, they convene on the bridge. Fina says that in the east, there is a land under the blue moon known as Yafutoma, which has a very different culture. Enrique says, according to Valuan historians, the people there are protected by scales and eat by manipulating 2 sticks. Aika is baffled and imagines what this could mean racistly. Enrique continues and says that there is a city on the edge of Nasir called Esperanza, and that they should be able to get more information on how to get to Yafutoma there. So next week, our heroes will set sail for Esperanza and adventure.
Yay.
Yay!
So let's listen to some adventurous music and then talk about our memorable moments. So, I technically played this week, but I have, like I mentioned, resorted to Game Shark codes because I was not doubling my saves, and I was right before the fight. I had saved in between the boss fight at the end of the Ixataka section and the ship fight, where if you try to leave, you automatically go into the ship fight, and I didn't have any items, and I didn't have any MP, and there was really no way for me to get through it. I tried to finagle and JRPG spiral the best I could, and I couldn't. So I cheated, but yeah. So I no longer have random battles, and I have max stats on all of the characters. So I am basically doing the puzzles and reading the story, which this game has good puzzles and good story. So I'm still enjoying myself, but the battle system is no longer an issue for me.
I see.
Which, one, is a shame because the battles are great, but two,
They are.
that's going to save you a lot of time because the battles are long.
Yeah.
So when I put it on the cheat codes on first, I in Dolphin you can it'll search through a database wherever it has it and pull the codes for you. One of them was entitled no random battles, and one of the others was called make battles go faster. And I was like, well, that's what I want to do. If they just can speed up the animation speed for battles or something, like that'll make everything go faster. Sure, I want that one. What that one meant, and I don't see why anyone would want this in this game of all games, is it makes your encounter rate like 3 times higher. And it's already the highest encounter rate since like Dragon Quest 1. It's insane. I don't know why anybody would want 3 times the random battles in this game. But I was getting very frustrated trying to figure out why the codes weren't working. But
amazing.
Yeah.
I love when there's cheat codes that you can do as part of a Game Shark that you're like, why? Who wanted this?
I mean, I guess if you want to grind and you're willing to use a Game Shark code, but not to just increase your stats.
Yeah. It's bizarre. Also bizarre is Vigoro from Valua. Damn it, it's not copying and pasting. His Japanese outfit is both great and horrifying. So
oh my.
So he's not wearing a shirt. He has chest hair in the shape of a tank top.
I mean, I took that to be a mesh tank top.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well, but apparently there's like a concept art, and it's supposed to just be a shitload of hair. But yeah.
I already didn't like this guy, but wow.
Yeah, it's bad.
That's very bad.
Aika has
Yeah.
a line, I believe, where she says he has a body hair problem, and my reaction to that was body hair isn't a problem, but this body hair is a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do want to say regard to him, and then also I'm not super in. I kind of liked. I'm forgetting his name already, but is Gilder gunshooty dude?
Uh-huh.
I kind of liked him, but him and the lady stalking him thing is like, I don't know. It's just not funny to me. And
Yeah.
it's just, and it's like those are like the only things I was like about. The rest of this segment we played today was just fantastic. I was really enjoying it. Enrique's an interesting new character to add to things.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to ask, and I feel weird about asking this.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone else notice in certain scenes something about his character model? And that's all I'm going to say to start with.
Enrique's?
Yes.
Is he David Bowie?
Not that.
Okay.
But I didn't screenshot it, and so I've been unable to prove it or show it to anyone to prove it. I was like, I swore players like, did they just give him like is he to use a slang phrase that kids use these days, caked out? Like what the fuck?
He has big hips.
He has big hips. He has a big butt.
He definitely does. I did not notice, but here's your proof.
If
right
you look
underneath
at
those things, he's caked up.
Yeah.
If you look at Ramirez's art here, let me get you a image. If you look at Ramirez's art, his pants are doing a similar thing. So this might just be how value in military pants go.
Mm-hmm.
They might just be designed to make it look like people are caked up.
But I really like the idea of Enrique being caked up and being a very he's just a very
otherwise very
dude.
slender. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's a cute boy. He's a cute boy, and I'm not against him in Vice. I think that's an excellent ship that can stand aside all the other ships in this game.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if he gets to be part of the polycule, but we'll see.
Speaking of Enrique, this game continues to have really good face textures, and Enrique's, it's so great being a sailor, and I'm glad we made it through the storm to make it to Crescent Isle face is so good.
Yeah, because he's so airsick and putting on a brave face, and it's so disturbing.
This game is so fun.
Speaking of disturbing face textures, the other one that I had is good old Captain Ahab himself. Those eyes stared directly into my soul.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, we always talk about, every week we have to talk about the bespoke animations that they have in the scenes. The scene where Gilder's breaking them out of prison, he's like hunched over the lock, and we see him from behind, and then Vice says that there's a message from Clara, and he like tenses up. And then right after that, he's standing next to the door facing Vice, and he just reaches behind him and knocks the door open. And it's another great animation, right in the row. It's great. This game's graphics and animations and filmmaking are so good.
They are. They're very ahead of the time, ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
And
again, I said this before, but this game predates Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
And does a lot of stuff as good, if not better.
And if you are playing this game on the Steam Deck and you have it set up through EmuDeck, it will automatically download the HD textures, which are actually really good and fit the vibe. And like a lot of times you'll get HD textures, but because the polygon counts aren't very big, it looks stupid. But they don't look stupid, and they are awesome. And it's a very nice way to play through this game, and I definitely recommend it.
Yay. Do we have anything else as a memorable moment?
The last thing I wanted to bring up is I love when JRPGs do the thing that this one did with Enrique, where it shows you that people are bad, but peoples are not bad. So you get somebody who should 100% be a bad guy, and they're like, no, why would I be for torturing children? Let's fucking blow up the church. We're in a JRPG, sort of shit.
Yeah.
And I love it every time it happens, and it honestly doesn't happen enough. It happens enough that it's a trope, but there's a whole lot of games where you're just like, oh yeah, let's go kill all the goblins and not talk about it and not investigate why we're doing that.
Yeah, very true. I definitely appreciate that as well. I will say I think it's marred very slightly in this case for me, just because any scene with Enrique and his mom was just her like, we should burn down the orphanage, and him going, no, we should donate all our money to children. And it's like, these are just such moral extremes that it makes you go, how have you lived this long and not realize that your mother is a fucking evil sociopath? Like, I don't understand.
I mean, we might find out that she recently came to be possessed by a greater evil.
Do you think this is a Final Fantasy 9 situation?
It might be. I don't know. I don't remember.
That's fair. It could be.
Also, I was just so I googled Enrique, Skies of Arcadia, which is his name. And apparently he's 25 years old, and I'm like, no, what? This guy is 17.
Absolutely.
What? Sometimes the age of video game characters just doesn't make sense.
Not at all.
He is not 25. He is a teen.
Yeah, he's like, I would go as far as say he's probably 16, not 17. The way he's like, philosophically disagreeing with his parents the way that he is. It just feels like a very like, I have my own ideas now, Mom, and I think that we shouldn't kill children, Mom.
Yeah, he feels so much like a teen and not a 25-year-old, but you know, maybe being a prince leads to some arrested development. I don't know.
Who can say?
Who can say?
Can.
I'm trying to think if I have anything else. These past 2 weeks of this game have been so great, and part of me is sort of worried that now that we're, going after moon crystals again, it'll be a little less exciting. But maybe not.
I'm trying to have faith. I'm trying to have faith in the game that it'll still make that formula interesting.
But yeah, so a little bit of housekeeping. Me and Bernard realized like this week that we accidentally started year 5 a season early. It's supposed to happen after our Best of the Rest, and this game was supposed to be our Best of the Rest replacement this year. So instead, we're going to change some shit up, and we'll make it up to everybody. There will be an extra season this year, and it'll be super cool and awesome, and we planned it all out and everything, and I'm super excited for that. But
everything is fine.
The eagle-eyed among you will realize that we got cool new art early, which now stinks because, I mean, Trish being Maya is still great, but Trish could have been Aika. Man,
that would have been really cool.
It would have been it would have been fantastic, but oh well.
I do like me as I do like me as Maya, and I do really. I don't remember if I told you this. So first of all, I have my like found family older sister. Her name is Maya. And she loves that art we got for that year, and she just thinks it's the coolest thing ever. Yeah. I think she also appreciates because we both are friends with other Sam, the game professor, and he looks very fun in that in his Sephiroth outfit.
I love
with his
that
tie.
Art.
Yes,
it's really good. Shout outs to Laurel at Sister Orator on a lot of things. CICERORATOR. I did it. But yeah, they're fantastic. They're our go-to. Ever since me and Maddie stumbled upon their little Unity project back on our indie demo bonus episode that we did, we've been in love and commission them all the time. They're fantastic. Shout outs to them. But yeah, other than that, social media changed a lot this week, and we now have
will continue to probably.
Yeah, so we now have too many socials that we don't use enough of. So the Discord is still the number one place to find us, but to help you find us anywhere else, we now have a link tree. It's still linked as our website on www.rpgbook.club. So when you go there, the link right there will take you to our link tree. But now you can find us on Threads, on Co-host, on Mastodon, on Instagram.
Co-host is probably going to be more active because it's the one that I like, and also I think it has good discoverability stuff. I'm not getting paid enough to post on Threads a bunch.
Yeah,
Threads sucks ass, and I'm not getting paid anything.
Yeah, I'm really active on Threads, but it kind of sucks to find my community. So if you're on Threads, you want to hit us up, that would be great, because right now all I can see is influencers because there's no fucking following page.
God.
But yeah.
Do you find that half the posts that come through on the Threads algorithmic feed are verified accounts talking about how great Threads is?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. My block list is currently longer than my following list.
Absolutely.
I've heard some really bad stuff about Threads. I'm
it's
currently
so
fairly
bad.
uninterested in getting it.
Yeah, don't get it unless it fixes a lot of stuff. It's not worth it.
Yeah, all of its highs are like really high currently, and I really like it. Like, something about their algorithm like really drives engagement, which is weird. Like, a lot of people are like, "Oh my god, I'm not shouting into a void anymore," and I don't know what it is about it that's doing that. And a lot of people are like halfway to being Tumblr goblins on it, and it's just kind of a lot of shit posts. But it's also a lot of like daily grind influencer types that annoy the shit out of me, and I have to block them a lot. But I have a feeling it will be good after they do a couple of things, and it's decent enough now that I'm enjoying being on there. So I'm active. I'm the RPG Book Club account on Threads, and Bernard is the RPG Book Club account on Co-host.
I need to actually do stuff on the Co-host account. I haven't yet because I've just been so out of it.
Oh, I think we're still waiting listed too. We can't post for a couple of days as part of.
Oh, I forgot that was a thing because I made my Co-host account like a year ago and didn't start using it until recently.
Yeah. But,
yeah, Co-host is the one that I'm personally the most attached to at this point, which is very lightly.
Yeah. Mastodon, I have it set up where it will post when we have new episodes, and that might be all that it does for right now. But yeah, we're in places that aren't just the Discord, but we will actually be on the Discord most of the day, and we will periodically check and post on the other ones. But yeah, you can find the link tree with all of the thingamabobbers over at www.rpgbook.club, and while you're there, you can donate to help us pay for hosting costs and game costs and different subscription costs we have to do to keep the lights on around here. When you donate, if you choose to donate monthly, you can do so in one of 3 tiers. The Gadabout tier is everyone who pays $1 or more a month. This will get you access to our Book Club no Kiseki episodes a month before everyone else.
There will be Book Club no Kiseki episodes eventually.
Yes, we're hoping for Monday, but me and Bernard have a lot of game to get through if it's going to happen on Monday. But it also let you vote on our polls to decide our next game when they go live. This was episode 6. Bernard said it'll probably be about 10 episodes. So in about 2 weeks, we'll have our next pull up. And
I'm so excited.
Me too.
We might even announce the theme for this year, even though it's barely a theme. But yeah, that'll be going fairly soon. The next tier up is the Warrior tier, and it's for everyone who pays $5 or more a month, and they'll get their name shouted out at the end of every episode, just like this. Shoutouts to Cerebral Wind, Floris, Kaldron, Freddie Rodriguez, Aaron524, Vimk, Jfro Prime, and Doho. And then finally, the Luminary tier is for everyone who loves us so much that they want to pay us $20 or more a month. They also get a 1 sentence shout out to make me say whatever they want. So shoutouts to L. Tantavi, who wants you to check out critical-distance.com, which is an aggregator for games criticism and journalism. And shout out to William Taylor, who wants you to check out rpgamer.com, which is a game review website by people like us for people like us. And also shout outs to Carr, who is a dentist. So he's not shouting out his Twitch stream, but rather your own mouth. And he says to brush your teeth twice a day, most importantly, the time right before you go to bed. For RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
Toodaloo, folks.
Bye.